Hi guys, my name is Jonathan and today I'll be showing you how to do a flush on your Rinnai Tankless water heater. This water heater came with my brand new construction home here in Escondido, California, in which, by the way, if you are from the Eclipse community in Escondido, California, I do offer this service for you guys at a discounted rate. Regardless, the specific water heater we will be working on is the Rinnai RSC160iN water heater. This is 160,000 BTU. And it retails for around $1,500, so you definitely want to keep up with the annual maintenance and make sure you flush the heat exchanger at least once a year to make sure it lasts long so you don't have to replace this. The items we will need for the flush is a garden hose. This one is a 25 foot, but in reality you just need a garden hose that is long enough to get from the isolation valve to a nearby drain or a sink drain, or in my case I'm just going to be dumping it outside. You will need two laundry washer hoses. These use the same garden hose fittings and they're just about perfect length. You'll need a 1.6 horsepower submersible pump, a 5-gallon bucket, and a total of 4 gallons of distilled white vinegar. You can get this anywhere in any grocery store. So without further ado, let's get started with the flush. Alright guys, so let's start with the flush. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect power to this water heater. Mine's connected right here. So go ahead and unplug that. We'll set this cord aside. Now let me give you guys an overview of what's going on and how this works. So this is your cold water supply line that's indicated by the blue valves. And these are our isolation valves. This is our cold water isolation valve and our hot water isolation valve. Basically, cold water goes in. As long as that valve is open, it can flow through into the water heater and through the heat exchanger in the water heater. Gets the water hot, comes out through here. As long as this isolation valve is open, it can give hot water to your home. These isolation valves are basically pretty simple. When you close this valve, it shuts off the supply line. And when you close this valve, it isolates the water heater from the hot water lines in your home. These valves right here are for the ports. These are little dust caps. So basically, as long as these valves are closed, nothing's gonna come out of these when you open the cap, just like that. See how nothing came out? Or a little bit came out, but that's normal. It's not spewing out as if it was open. Nothing will come out of here until you open up these valves. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and close the supply and the hot water valve. These can get a little hard to turn, so give it some muscle. All right, and that right there is off. Let's go and turn this one off. All right, man, these Rinnai valves are pretty hard to turn sometimes. Okay, so now the cold water supply line and the hot water supply line have been shut off, or hot water outlet has been shut off. So this water heater is now isolated from the system, meaning there is no water running through it. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and connect our 2 laundry hoses to these ports, and then we'll direct them to the bucket. This is our cold water port. Back here. Okay. And this is our hot water. Connect that here. Now we're going to open both of the valves, and all that's going to do is it's going to allow the water left inside of the water heater to drain out completely. So we'll go and open the valves. All right, so the valves are open. You can see some water's coming out. And you can already see there's some debris that's coming out of that water. So we'll give that some time to drain out completely. Now, had we not closed the valves on the supply line and hot water line, you would have a lot of water being forced out. You'd have a lot of water from the supply just pushing out here, and you'll also have the water in the hot water lines inside the home draining out. My home is a 3-story home, so yeah, there's gonna be a lot of water coming out just as long as, let's say somebody opened up a hot water line and it purges, allows air into the line and allows water to come out. It's gonna be a lot of water, just saying. So now that we drained out all the water in the water heater, we can go ahead and check the filter. Let's do this one right here. Let me try to do it by hand. It's a little tough, so I'm gonna go ahead and use some channel locks. A little tough. Let's see if I can use this. Alright, so this is our filter. Ooh, there's some in there, but we'll go ahead and clean this out. I'll just get a rag. A little pick tool. See that? Definitely don't want that in there. Water coming out through that little filter hole. That won't be a problem. And we'll just clean this. Water dripping. And I'll spray it down with some brake cleaner. Alright, so now our filter is nice and clean. You can go ahead and reinstall that. Put this plastic piece around it like how it originally was. Piece. There we go. All right. So now that the water heater is drained out, I'm gonna go ahead and dump the water out. Just dump it right outside the garage. Now we'll get our submersible pump. We want to put this on the supply side or the cold water side. So we'll just connect that. Okay, that's in. Now we can go ahead and put our 4 gallons of distilled white vinegar. Alright, now before we turn this submersible pump on, we want to actually plug this in for about 20 seconds and then unplug it. That way we make sure that the valves are fully open. Plugged it in. Alright, so that's just about 20 seconds. We'll go ahead and unplug it now. Set this aside. So that method, or that what we did right there, is we allowed the water heater to fully open the internal valves inside. And then we'll go ahead and plug in this submersible pump. Just like that. Go. It's purging the air out of it since there's air inside. Should have a lot less bubbles once all the air is purged. And there you go. So we'll go ahead and let this run for about 1 hour. And then we'll continue on from there. Alright guys, so it's been flushing for about an hour, so we'll go ahead and unplug this submersible pump. Alright, what we will do now is, for now I'm going to close these isolation valves. And then I'm going to unplug or disconnect it from the pump. remove the pump from the bucket. Okay. Now that that's out, I'm going to open the isolation valves again to let the vinegar drain from inside the water heater. Alright, so that looks good. Go ahead and close these valves for now. And we'll take the lines out. Now I'm just going to check that filter again. That's the one that was up here. Okay. Just inspect it, and there is definitely some dirt that's in there. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I'm glad we checked. Yep. Definitely some debris that got in there. So we'll go ahead and rinse this off or spray it down with a brake cleaner. You can get this at any auto parts store. All right, now that's nice and clean. We can install it now. Fix this plastic and put it on the wrong way. All right. Okay. Now we're going to get that garden hose. It's this one right here. I'm going to connect it to the hot side for it. And we can actually go ahead and close this port off now because we won't be using that anymore on the cold side. And now I'm going to position this hose to dump out right outside of my garage. It will run down the driveway into the street. Let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to use these water bottles as a weight so that it does not move. Now what I'm going to do is open the valve that leads to the port on the hot side. Okay, and now we're going to turn on the cold water supply. Now what this is gonna do is it's gonna give cold water, or apply cold water pressure through the system, and it's gonna dump and push out all the vinegar and all the debris inside the water heater out this hose. Go ahead and open that up now. That was hard, so let me use some pliers. You can hear water pouring through it. I have it on full blast. And we're gonna do this for 5 minutes. All right, so our 5-minute timer is up. We've now flushed all of the vinegar or the flushing solution inside the heat exchanger. So we can now shut off the port. All right. Then we can disconnect this line right here. I'll go ahead and let the water drain out by holding it up high like this. All right. Now we can go ahead and close that port. I'm going to verify that both ports are tight, just in case these valves leak. They shouldn't, but there for a reason. I'm also going to make sure our filter port is tight. And now I can turn on the hot water to the house. That's this one right here. Perfect. So the flush is complete. I can now put power to the water heater. Plug it in. Now, these water heaters, sometimes they have a timer. You can set it to have a timer, you can disable it. Basically, around 1 year or half a year, or however you set it to alert you when you need service. Sometimes you'll get an SS code or service soon code. This one doesn't because it was disabled. I actually went through the process of opening it up and changing the parameters so I can re-enable it to notify me or give me the service soon code every year. But if you do have it, this is how you reset it, and you should also reset it even if you don't have the SS code. Otherwise, it'll show up later down the road and you already flushed it, and it's gonna think you didn't flush it. So to do the reset, all we have to do is click the on/off button 5 times within 5 seconds. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That has officially been reset. We'll go ahead and turn it back on. And there you have it, guys. All right, guys, so as you can see, it's not too difficult to do a flush on your Rinnai water heater. I do recommend doing this flush at least once a year to prevent any debris, any corrosion, any buildup from forming inside of the heat exchanger. Because basically that heat exchanger, it allows the open flame to transfer the heat into the water. And that heat exchanger is made out of a very thermally conductive material so that the flame can transfer the heat without actually touching the water. And basically in the heat exchanger, if you have too much corrosion buildup or any debris in it, it can get clogged. And the corrosion can actually make pinholes that'll actually make it leak. And not only that, the corrosion and buildup will act like a thermal insulator and will not allow the heat to efficiently transfer from the open flame through the heat exchanger and into the water. So it'll use up a lot more energy. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope this video was helpful. And like what I said, if you are from the Eclipse community in Escondido, California, I can do this flush for you at a discounted rate. You guys have a good rest of your day. Bye.